What's your favorite genre?
Genre, fantasy. Then most of my comics were like that. I mean, ElfQuest was fantasy. We Shadows was fantasy. I'm talking to a publisher now about doing another fantasy series. I'll let you know if that happens. But yeah, I love fantasy. I love other genres too, but that's definitely my favorite. Yeah.
What did you do to kind of get into the emotional place for when Krillin is kind of, you know, falling for Android 18? Like, what did you do to prepare for that?
Well, I go back to my youth when I was a wuss. and quite whipped as in my younger days. And I reflected on it because I understood that, you know, the being very lonely and wanting that kind of family, that desire for family, you know. And so I draw on that. I remember the first girl I really fell in love with, you know, caused me to be in severe depression for like a year. I was like 18. So I draw on that. Although it's really hard for me to remember that now because I'm very jaded. I have no emotions. Only for my daughter. Yeah.
Would you ever want to act in a live action?
I might. I never really had that big desire to do so. I mean, I came from I would love to get back on stage. I love theater. But to me, acting on a movie is probably exactly the same as voice acting. It's just, you know, because everything's line by line. You know, one line at a time generally. So people are looking. Except people are looking. Exactly. I haven't heard about that. Yeah.
Favorite part of ACO?
Huh?
Favorite part of Project ACO?
My favorite part of Project ACO, I'm going to ruin the ending for you because it's the ending, is the last episode. Project ACO is about this a teenage girl who has superpowers. They don't say why she has superpowers. She just has superpowers, right? Throughout the whole show, she's displaying these superpowers. You know, she's always late for school, even though she can run like a demon. Still, the very last episode, she walks by this closet, her dad's closet, and she just walks by and you see Superman's costume hanging in the closet. She just walks by, and then she walks by the table and you see him, the dad sitting with glasses, it looks just like Clark Kent, and he's talking to his wife, it looks just like Lois Lane, and she's like, I'm late for school, and she goes off, right? That's my favorite part of watching it, because I was like, of course! And he just spoiled it for us! Yeah, it's not worth it. No, it's awesome. But here's okay. Don't watch the film. It is horrible. And they really missed the emotions of the original intention of the Japanese. The Japanese are awesome. Yeah.
Does voice acting ever get frustrating at times?
Frustrating? No. I mean, only when you don't cast, you know, that's frustrating. But generally, it's the coolest job in the world, you know? I mean, it's not the, I mean, like, people ask me, would you like better voice acting or cartooning? I get more pride from cartooning because it's much more difficult, you know, to execute a well-done page. It's hard. Voice acting, while it can be work and it can be emotionally draining at times too, it's still like a wonderful experience every time you go in. You know, it's like, you know, you do hang gliding, you know, it's just exhilarating. Yes?
Because they're doing so much of it lately, how would you feel if one of your comics was made into a movie?
I love it, you know, but you know, I don't think it needs to be made into a movie to be validated, but we're like a lot of times that people think, you know, they just make a comic to become a movie, right? But I think it would have to be judged on its own merits, you know, separate from the language. But it'd be cool because it'd bank. And my friend Wendy Peeney, her book ElfQuest has just been greenlit by Warner Brothers.
Really?
Yeah, so it just might take off. They've got a great contract that says that if they don't make the movie, they still make tons of cash. So there's an incentive for Warner Brothers to actually get this on the ground.
Win-win situation.
Win-win on this one. Yeah. Although they really want it to be a movie because they make so much money on ElfQuest over the years, you know. I mean, they did really well. It's probably the biggest independently published book anywhere. Yeah.
Have you ever read Death Note?
What?
Have you ever read Death Note?
I saw the live-action movie, and I saw the live-action L movie, but I've never read that manga. And now I'm afraid to, because I'm like, I saw the movie first, right? And I'm like, what, is it going to be disappointing to me? Because I really love the live-action movie.
It won't.
It's not, it won't, it's really good? Okay. I've been tempted a couple of times, but my wife actually ordered it on Netflix by mistake. And I was like, oh yeah, I've been meaning to read that. And I was like, well, let's just watch it. And it's live action, it probably sucks. And it was like, really cool, you know? I liked it a lot.
American version of it, but then they take Shinigami out.
Why are Americans always messing up their movie versions of anime?
I know.
Dragon Ball Z Evolution or whatever that was, that abomination.
Well, yeah.
Hell.
How
How about stick? You know what? And Hollywood does this all the time. When they make comic books turn into movies, they need to stick as close to the original source as possible. Because when they do, the movie's brilliant, right? Spider-Man 1 was very close to the comic book. I mean, as close as you can get. I mean, originally the comic book was written in the 70s. So some things had to be updated, but most of it was pretty much dead on. And it was a great movie, right? But 3 was crap. Because they went, let's take some liberties. Stupid. Stick to the original material. If I had my druthers, they would use every panel as storyboards, you know? And just make them. They would probably be brilliant movies. The closest I've ever seen to that was Sin City. That was awesome. Yes?